Okay, got an interesting one here. Customer had ran a Norton scan, and after they ran the Norton scan, it won't finish booting up. It seems like it tries to boot up, and when it tries to boot up Explorer, it keeps dumping Explorer, and it just continuously loops that way. So I've done several things, including I started up in safe mode, and it does the same thing in safe mode. So that throws that possibility out. So then I went next to System Restore, and they had two dates there. They had May 1st and May 4th. I tried to restore to the May 1st, and that restore point wasn't good. It was, I guess, corrupted. And so now I'm working on restoring to May 4th, and we're going to see how this turns out. And if it's successful and everything loads up fine, that's wonderful. If not, my next plan of action is actually to get it back up to where I was, because I can actually get the Explorer bar to come up, but I have to dump the Norton processes to get it to do it, and then it will give me the Explorer. So my plan of action is I'm going to wait to see if it can restore to the 4th and to see if that fixes it. And if it doesn't fix it, then my next plan of action will be to actually to get back up, boot it the best I can, try to get that Explorer bar back, and try to actually uninstall Norton and to see if it will start to boot up fine then. And then we'll just go from there. But very interesting issues. I will update you as soon as we find out what happens with trying to make this restore point. Alrighty, and we are back to here. So I attempted to let it do a Windows repair, and that clearly failed. So we're back to doing the same thing that we were doing. It tries to load up Explorer, and then it just crashes. That's all there is to it. So the deal is, there are quite a few photographs on this computer that the customer really needs to save. And I don't see a lot of hope for this particular operating system. So I'm going to contact the customer, and the plan I advise would be to go in and create another partition. Use some of the empty partition space to create another partition to where I could actually install Windows 10 on that new partition. And then what we can do is we can go into the old operating system that would be on the original partition, and we can go ahead and save those files on over, and that way she doesn't lose anything, and then we can kind of go from there. So, but that's going to be my recommendation. We'll see what she has to say, and we'll go from there. This is a good one. I have never had a computer, either Windows wouldn't boot at all or what have you. I've dealt with 1,000,001 problems with Windows computers because I've been doing it for 30 years. But having the Windows Explorer continually crash and not allow me to do much of anything. I can open up Task Manager. That's about all I can do. And if I try to in task on the Norton processes, it denies me access. It won't let me do it. So I think the best course of action would be to create a new partition using some of the empty partition space, which most of it's empty, and then install Windows 10 on it so we can run on a fresh copy of Windows 10 and hop over and take the stuff off of this Windows 11 installation. And then after everything's copied, everything's good, then what I would do is just format the original partition. And what that would do is she would have a copy of Windows 10 on one partition that she would be using, and then she would actually have a second partition she could use for storing files, so that if she ever ran into this again, it's not really a big deal as long as she's got everything backed up on the second partition. And it won't be anything at all just to reinstall Windows or do whatever needs to be done. So that's going to be my suggestion. I will see what she has to say, and then we'll go from there. Okay, this is currently where I am at. I'm using a partition manager in order to create I'm actually, what I'm doing is I'm resizing the normal Windows partition so that it will create an unallocated space, so that what I can do in turn is go back and install a fresh copy of Windows 10 on that unallocated space. And what that will allow me to do is be able to run a copy of Windows while I drag files over and basically back up everything that she needs to save. And then what I will do from there is I will just I will save the files, I will get them in a safe place, and then I will simply I will wipe everything that's on there except for the files I needed to save, and then I will just reinstall Windows again. Yes, it's installing Windows 2 times, but that's okay, because I want to make sure that I get everything all taken care of. And then when it's all said and done, instead of just having her C drive or the C partition, she will actually have two partitions. She'll have a C and a D. Obviously, the operating system will run on the C, and then the D will just be storage space. So any files that she has that she needs to keep safe, she can put in that storage partition. And in that way, it doesn't matter what happens to Windows. She can have a complete Windows failure once again, and it makes it super easy because all of her files are already backed up. All you have to do is go in and work on the Windows, whether it be repair it or whether that be just a complete fresh install. This is how I set up all of my computers. If they've got only one hard drive, what I will do is I will partition it so that the computer itself sees it as two separate hard drives, even though it's only physically one drive. And in that way, that gives you some storage space so you can put all your files that you need to save, and you don't have to worry about if you have problems with Windows. Back in the old Windows 98 SE days, this was an imperative thing to do because it was a toss-up. You never knew when you were going to have a Windows problem. But it was pretty guaranteed that at one point or another you were going to have a Windows problem. So we're creating this other partition here, and as soon as that partition is created, then I will go ahead and put in my boot USB for Windows 10, and we will get a fresh copy of Windows 10 installed. As you can see, this is almost done, and I'm going to let it finish up, and then we're going to get to it, and we're going to see how fast we can make our computer run and how smoothly we can make it run. Okay, so we got the go-ahead on the plan. And if you don't know, you can have issues when you install a new copy of Windows, say on a new partition, and you try to get the files from the previous partition, or from the previous operating system. Windows will stop you and it will tell you don't have permissions to get the files. However, there's tools that you can get and install and make it real easy to take ownership of those files. And so what you see right there in the Windows PowerShell is it's actually going to every single file that is on the original operating system, and it's granting permissions to this operating system. This way I can back up the image, the pictures and stuff that she's got on the old operating system. And what I'm going to do is once I get those backed up, I'm going to put them on a flash drive. And then once I get them all backed up, then I'm just going to wipe this one big old clean slate, and I'm going to, when I reinstall Windows, I'm going to put Windows 11 on it for her. You're looking at Windows 10 running there. What I will do when I install the Windows 11 on it is I will create a second partition, like I mentioned earlier. That will be her storage, and I'll name it storage so she knows what it is. I'll put her pictures on it and stuff like that. And like I said earlier, she won't have to worry. If her operating system gets messed up again, as long as she's got anything she needs backed up in that other partition, in the storage partition, then she'll have it. The C drive, as you know it, the operating system drive, can be completely formatted, Windows reinstalled, and all that, and you won't lose any of the files that you have over on the storage partition. So that's the plan. I'm waiting for this to grant permissions to all the files, and you don't have to allow it to do it to all the files, but I did just in case, because I'm going to make sure that I'm not missing any pictures or anything like that. The last thing I ever want to do is lose things like pictures and stuff for customers, because I understand how important that is for folks. Okay, as you can see, I am currently copying the picture folder over, so I am successfully getting her pictures, and it kind of speeds up, slows down, speeds up, slows down. It's just the way it goes, but we're definitely making progress. I did take ownership of the files on the old operating system successfully. I am copying them over. So, and there may be a lot of people out there that work on computers that say, I don't know why he did it that way. Why didn't he just do this? Or he should have did it that way. Look, it's kind of like a Ford Chevy argument. We all have our own ways of doing this. And all I can say is out of 30 years of experience of working on computers, I have little to no troubles with my own. And so anytime I do somebody else's computer, I do so in the same manner that I do my own. And like I said, I very, very rarely ever have issues with my computers. So we will continue to get these files, and once these files are copied over, then I will go to reinstalling Windows 11 brand new on a brand new formatted, well, not a new hard drive, but it'll be a freshly formatted hard drive and have a fresh copy of Windows 11. Good morning. We are back at it. So what I did is we're now installing Windows 11. And what I did is when I put in the USB to install 11, when it came up and given me my format options and whatnot, I actually deleted every partition except for the partition that I have Windows 10 running on with a copy of her photos. I left that partition intact. I have her photos both on that partition, and then I have another backup right here. So just in case, I've got two backups of her photos. I am not going to lose those photos. And so I deleted all the other partitions, and then obviously created a new partition with the unallocated space, formatted it, and right now we're installing Windows 11, 51% done getting files ready for installation. So we're going to go ahead and let this run. We're going to install Windows 11, and then from there we're going to go and I'm actually going to move the image files from what will be the D drive to the main C drive. But then what I'm going to do is format that D drive, so where Windows 10 is currently running at is going to be wiped clean, and then I will move the images, the photos back down to that D drive, that second drive I created, or the second partition I created on the hard drive. And then what I will do is I will show you this. I'm going to point the pictures, Windows Pictures folder, to the folder that I have on that different, that partition that I created, and so that way she's got it backed up. It doesn't matter if Windows explodes; she'll have her photos. And the other thing is, the reason why I'm going to point Windows default photos folder to that hard drive and that folder is because that way there won't be any confusion later on when she adds more photos and stuff like that. They'll all go to the same place. And then I'm going to advise her once again to get an external hard drive and back her photos up on that and put that hard drive in a fire safe or something similar like that. Okay, so as you see, we've got Windows 11 installed. We're running through all of our updates. So I'm waiting on this. Once I get all the updates installed and get everything rebooted and everything's looking good, and then I'll make the changes to where Windows sees that photos folder, and I'll show you how I do that when I get there. Okay, let me show you what I am doing here. First off, let's go back to this PC so you can see this view, and you'll see that the drives listed is the C drive as normal, and then there's a D drive that's named storage, and so that's that drive. I just formatted that particular partition on this hard drive, and then I copied back over the pictures folder. Now this is what I want to show you. Right here is your normal shortcut for your pictures. And if I click on that, obviously there's not anything in there. So I'm gonna actually right click it, and I'm going to click on properties, and I'm going to click on that location tab, and I'm actually going to change this location. So what I'm going to do, just to make it super simple, is I'm going to come here, and I can either right click and click properties, and I can, they usually have it listed right there. Okay, I'll do it the other way then. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and then I'm just going to come up here and click in this box, and I am going to nav that. Copy that, and then I can come back here, and I'm going to paste what I had, and I'm going to apply it. It pops up and it says, do you want me to move all of the files from the old location to the new location? It says old location, new location. We recommend moving all the files so programs needing to access the folder's content can do so. And there wasn't anything in there, but I'm going to click yes. Okay? And now I'm going to click OK. I'm going to open back up the File Explorer, click on this PC, and didn't go anywhere. Pictures are still there, but you do notice it did change the icon here. So let's go ahead and go back to this PC so we know we're kind of on a benign screen here. And I'm going to click on Pictures. And look at that. So now Windows Pictures folder is now using this Pictures folder that I created on a separate partition on the hard drive, so she never has to worry about losing these pictures as long as her hard drive doesn't fail. So anyway, that's a wrap. That's everything on this PC. I've got some questions to ask her when she picks it up regarding Windows settings, like how she wants her power settings, her screen settings, what it does when you shut the lid or the cover down, sleep settings, how she wants her desktop items, because I typically go with like medium icons, but I always auto arrange icons and align icons to the grid. I do all three of these. I auto arrange. Some people do, some people don't. I know prior to this operating system she didn't, because she had icons that were just kind of all over her desktop. So she may like that, she may not like that. Either way, I will ask her and set it to whatever it is she chooses. Then I will remind her that when she gets home that she will have to put in her password and stuff, her credentials for her Wi-Fi at home. So right now it's hooked up to my Wi-Fi here. Just a reminder that she's going to have to do that when she gets home. And then that's it. This thing is ready to go. It runs so much faster and smoother. I mean, you can tell. You can tell a huge difference. So anyway, I do believe she'll be happy with it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Shalom.